All things Cheryl here to do a review and a recap of Queen Sugar, episode 10, season 2, titled Dusk and Drums. We began with the fact that Raph Angeles goes to visit Auntie B at her restaurant. Auntie B also noticed that the farm is becoming Raph Angeles, and she basically lets him know. She says the farm is basically becoming you and everything. And so Raph Angeles looks at her and said, what? And that's when we see that Auntie B reaches in hand Raph Angeles a flyer, and then with that flyer it talks about, getting counseling for young people before they decide that they want to jump the broom, get married and everything. And so Raph Angeles looking at the flyer and everything, but he basically hadn't had anything too much to say about the flyer. So in the meantime, we see this gentleman, this white man comes into the restaurant, and he looks around and everything, and he goes and he asks for Auntie B and her full name and everything. And so Auntie B says, well, how can I help you? He says, well, I'm here to see the woman who makes these pies. One reason why is that I tasted one of these pies. And then I went on to say, well, yeah, I know who you are. You have that chain of restaurants and everything. And so he says, yes, I do. And so she says, well, what is it that you want? What can I do for you? He says, well, I tasted one of your pies. And she says, well, one of the pies that you tasted? And he tells her, well, I tasted that cherry pie. And he said, that cherry pie was like off the chain, off the rock. And I'm like, yo, I need to have those cherry pies basically in my chain of store, and I'm basically like to give you an exclusive. I would like for you to bake 350 pies. I was like, 350 pies, oh, here we go. And so with the 350 pies, he basically pulled out the contract and gave Auntie B the paperwork and let her know what 350 pies look like a week. That's 50 grand, y'all. That's 50 kahunas. That's $50 dollar bills, y'all. And I was like, yo, Auntie B, you better go with them pies. I was like, yeah, cherry pies? Cherry pies are delicious, especially if they're baked right. And especially when they're nice and hot. You get a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream, boom. Put it up on that pie. That's all she wrote. So in the meantime, Auntie B takes the pies and everything. Auntie B looks at the contract. And so she basically put the contract in a pot, slide it aside and everything and put it away. Then we see the scene there. We see a scene where we see that Dollar is basically at a bridal shop trying on gowns for her wedding, and Charlie is basically dead. So apparently Charlie is going to pay for Dollar's gown for the wedding. And so Dollar looks at the price tag and said, this wedding dress is very, very expensive. And then that's when we see that Charlie gets into her feelings, because she's still feeling some kind of way when it comes to her mother, and she begins to tell the story to Dollar about how her mother was when she and Davis got married. And we find out that Davis and Charlie had a shotgun wedding, and her mother wasn't really, she disapproved of it. She wasn't happy to it. And so Dollar asked her, well, how does the wedding dress? And Charlie says, well, you know that I'm basically, the way I have been raised, especially from my mother, I am brutally honest, and the dress looks very, very nice on you. And so when Charlie was basically going and talking to Dollar about how her mother was, you basically can see that Dollar and Charlie had something similar when it comes to their mother. Dollar looked like she was beginning to break down because some of the similarities that Charlie was telling her about Miss Prescott, her mother, was basically the same thing. And so Charlie said, well, what's going on? What's happening with you? And that's when Dollar says, well, My parents and my mom has disclaimed me. I called and let them know that I was getting ready to get married, and they really haven't responded to me. And so Charlie says, well, how long has it been? And that's when Dollar says, it's been quite some time. It's been really, really quite some time. And so that's when Charlie says, well, don't worry about it. You basically have your own family now. You have Raph Angel and you have Blue. And basically we have you. You are, you are a part of the family now. So don't worry about it. Just go on and live your life. Go on and live your life. And so that's when I was like, okay, Charlie, I could kind of sort of I could try to do your thing. I could kind of see where you going with this. So in the meantime, we have Kiki and Micah. Kiki and Micah doing really well. But I want to go on before I get into the story of Kiki and their little scene. We want to go back to deal with Nova and Robert and Nova's best friend. Nova's best friend and Robert was out in the field cleaning up the field and everything. I guess that was one of the field where a lot of mosquitoes and stuff, and where the Zika virus can sort of form and basically spread. So the best friend was, helping to clean it. And so Robert was coming with some water, and so this is when Nova introduced Robert to her best friend. And Robert, said, well, how you doing? And then Robert put the water down. And then the best friend of Nova saw exactly how Robert was kind of looking at Nova. And the best friend of Nova tells this is a unicorn. And said that, wow, he really likes you. He looked like he's getting ready to jump your bones right now. And then Nova's best friend said, I thought you said that you were done with dating. And here we go again. He looks like he's a very, very nice person and everything. She says, well, you deserve to have, you deserve to be happy and everything. And then that's when she went on and asked Noah. She says, how is he? She said, how is he in the, in the department? How's the equipment? And then Noble kind of sort of grinned and said, you got it. And so that's when she said, oh, well, if you don't want him, trust me, I'll take him. And so that's when, Noah and them basically went on and, cleaned up the yard and everything. And so we're going over, and then this is where we get to see Kiki again. And Kiki basically have been a part of Nova's project. And Kiki meets Nova, and she tells Nova, she says basically, I'm very, very, I read all of your work and everything, and I love your articles and everything that you do. And so we see that Michael is beginning to be, being very, very responsive. He's being, he's getting to know the community and everything. He's not waiting for someone to come to him. He's going to them, because we see that he went and he introduced himself to one of the guys that was basically working with the project and stuff. And so in the meantime, after they're finishing everything, we see that Kiki and Micah takes Kiki to the apartment of his father. And Kiki looks around, and she, looks around and everything, and tells Michael that, oh, this is a very, very nice loft and everything. She says, this is, very nice. It's kind of almost better than your mother's and everything. And so Michael said, yeah, it is. And then that's when Michael goes on and say, well, look, we're basically here all by ourselves. My father is not in town and everything, and we have the loft all to ourselves. Is there anything that basically you like to do? You want to do? I was like, whoa, wait a minute, Michael. Are you trying to make a move on Kiki? So Kiki said, yeah, I would like to basically take a shower. And so that's when Michael said, well, okay, well, we can basically take a shower together. And Kiki was like, whoa, wait, roll, hold your roll, brother. I don't know the type of woman or the type of girlfriends that you basically dated when you was in California, but I'm not that type of person. As a matter of fact, Riker, you need to know that I am a virgin. I have not had sex. I have not committed myself to anyone. And basically, I'm not giving myself up to no man until I actually falls in love with them. I was like, you go, Kiki. For a minute there, when I first met you, I thought you might have been one of those little fast little honey. But I see you got values. I was like, oh, okay. And so that's when Michael kind of sort of braced to court himself. He said, you know what? I didn't even ask if you really wanted to, I didn't even ask you how you were doing, if you really wanted to come over or anything. I'm very, very sorry. Would you like to go home? I will take you home and everything. And then Katie said, no, I'm cool. Basically, we don't really know each other, and I'm just meeting you and everything. I really, really liked it. I really, really like you, and I really want to get to know you and everything. And so that's when they went on and start getting to know each other. I was like, go ahead, Kiki. I like the way you're rolling. In the meantime, we go back to Charlie. Apparently, Charlie has been invited to do this meeting at the parish with the Landry. And they have this thing every year that the people who are into the sugarcane and everything, they have the sugarcane society or whatever. And they invited Charlie to this little gathering. But apparently what they did it purposely. They gave her the wrong timing and everything. So she was basically late. So, she comes up and he was like, oh, we see that you finally arrived. And, well, Charlie tells him, well, the email and everything stated one thing. And I see there's another thing. And so that's when he goes around and he introduced everybody into this little sorority that they got going, and it's apparently there's a woman actually is a part of this thing too. And Charlie was like, yo, okay, I see there's another woman, we could basically kind of get things started. And so that's when we find out that every year they have this, I guess this St. Paris Queen, crowning of the Queen and everything, and they, basically go in and they pick, a young lady and everything that is supposed to be representing them. And so they passed around all of these girls' pictures. And then that's when the landlord said, well, oh, I kind of sort of like her and everything. And then that's when we run across the picture of Kiki. And that's when Charlie said, well, what about this young lady right here? And that's when the woman who was a part of it says, I'm sorry, she's not, she's not Paris, she's not the quality that we're basically looking for. In other words, she's not white, and she doesn't qualify because she's not white. And so Charlie was kind of sort of like, oh, okay, well, all right. So we find out that it's racist as hell. Although we know that they're, excuse me, I don't know what you two gonna be, what they're gonna do with me on this one. I said the word, so hey, it is what it is, And so we find out that they're racist. Okay, they are racist. And so Charlie, kind of sort of got. Wasn't really too much she could say because, she was in a new territory. And so this woman tells Charlie, said, look, you need to kind of sort of chill because you just got here. Why don't you just kind of chill and watch, exactly what's going on. Don't do too much input. I was like, oh, I don't think that's going to work for Charlie, but let's see. And so in the meantime, the meeting is over with. All right. So here come Miss Prescott. And so Miss Prescott comes into the loft where Charlie lives at. And she sees that Charlie has basically been, into her feelings. And she's kind of sort of still into her feelings, but she's into her feelings a different kind of way, because this time she's dwelling on the fact that her father has basically left Raph Angel everything, the farm, basically the farm. And she's, she was like, he didn't really make the document and everything legal. And so Miss Prescott said, I don't know why you still you still worrying about that. You basically have, even though you may not have the farm, but you basically have the mill. And she tells Charlie, well, you could do this. You could basically do this. And then basically Charlie tells her, says, look, my, business plan basically surrounded, with the farm, being a part of this mill. And so this is when Miss Prescott tells Charlie, says, well, I bet you can kind of sort of help you in that department. And so Charlie gives her, basically, the permission to, go ahead and take a look at her business plan. In the meantime, we see Aunt Vi. And let me tell y'all writers, y'all keep your hands off of Aunt Vi. Now, we know that there's something going on with Aunt Vi. We know that Aunt Vi has went to the doctors, and we know that there's something going on, right? We don't know what. Duvernay, if you gotta, make Aunt Vi, have something going on for her nieces and her nephew to get this farm up and going and get it done right and everything, don't just let her have something minor. Maybe take a pill or two, where she can kind of sort of get her balance off. And the reason why I said that is because we see that Auntie Vi has taken the contract with this man, has given her about the 350 pies. And she, getting ready to close down the restaurant. And she looks a little bit, and she look at the paper, but the paper is still blurry and everything. And so she's getting ready to get up. I was like, Ava, I think I told you, keep your hands off of Aunt Vi. 3 people, keep your hands off Blue, and keep your hands off of Hollywood. I was like, yo. And so Aunt Vi kind of sort of caught herself. And so I was like, man, I ain't feeling this. I'm telling you, Ava, keep your hands off of them. So we go on, and we see that over in the other part of town, we see that Raph Angel, has basically went over and got Dollar and put all the things in the truck and everything. And so we see that Dollar has moved in and everything. So we see that that's one part. Then let's go over to Aunt Vi and Miss Prescott. Aunt Vi goes to the mill. And she goes into the mill and she opens up the door and she sees Lynn Prescott sitting there. And Aunt Vi right away, Aunt Vi is like, she not really having it. She was like, what are you doing here? We told you not to come here. Why are you here? And Miss Prescott said, look, I'm here to see my grandkid. She said, my daughter then took my grandkid and moved over here in the south in these woods and everything. And basically, I need to come and see my grandkid. I need to come see my daughter, see what's going on with them. And that's when Auntie Vi kind of like tore into her and said, look, we told you not to come here. And basically, you can send airplane tickets and everything. You could basically send a train for them and send an airplane to come and get you. But we told you not to come here. We told you not to come here. We told you not to come here. And that's when Auntie Vi like looked at, Miss Prescott and like, I don't know why you here, but it ain't gonna be nice when Nova finds out that you are here. And that Nova gonna hit the fan. Because we know that Nova's father, and which I didn't know this, Nova's father was married to Charlie's mother. I was like, oh well, looked like Charlie's father was kind of messy. He was like really messy, because that's when we find out that he really didn't really marry Nova's mother until he really actually found out that he had a son by Nova's mother, and that's when he married her. Oh, he looked like he was kind of messy, and he did some, conniving stuff. And so that's when we go on and we find out that Charlie, no, strike that. We go on and we dealing with Ralph Angel and Dollar. Ralph Angel and Dollar has basically came home and everything, and Ralph Angel comes in and sees that Dollar is basically talking to Blue, trying to get Blue to kind of calm down and get ready to go to bed. But it seems that Blue has basically built this little tent and everything, and he wanted his mother and father to basically get into the tent. And so they got into the tent, and then this is when we find out that Blue is still dealing with Kenya. I'm thinking that Kenya is no longer a part of the family, but Kenya is still rocking, and Kenya is still a part of the family. I was like, oh, okay, Kenya is still hanging in there. And so that's when Dollar and Ralph Angel get into the tent. And so that's when they were doing like the shadow, the different shadow angels, animals and stuff through the dark with the flashlights and everything. And so that's when Blue started asking questions again about him, about the family, and saying, and Blue said, Mommy's still really going to be here forever and ever. And that's when Dollar looked at Ralph Angel, and then Ralph Angel was somewhere way off in another area. Ralph Angel's and Blue said, Daddy, is Mommy gonna? And then that's when Ralph Angel answered Blue and says yes. And so I was like, yo, what is going on with you, Ralph Angel? But we're gonna find out later on. And so this is when we find out that Miss Prescott has revisited to let Charlie know that Auntie Vi found out that she was in town. And so this is when Charlie goes in to visit Auntie Vi. And this one I was like, yo, Ava, you got Aunt Vi looking at on the internet, looking at websites and stuff that's dealing with fibromyalgia. Now, if you want to let that, I have a friend, and I have a couple other people who basically is dealing with fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia is no joke, because it deals with the muscles, it deals with a lot of stuff. And I want you all, if y'all gonna do this, y'all gonna do this, because we really don't know. We just know that Auntie Vi is not really feeling well, and she did go to the doctor, but now we see her looking on websites and checking out exactly what it is. This is fibromyalgia, but we don't really know. Look, Ava, look, writers, make it very light. Make it something where she could just take a pill and she could get on with her life, because one, I want Auntie Vi to bake the heck out of these cherry pies. I want her to bake these cherry pies where is that we gotta hire that guy that did Patti LaBelle's pies, and I want her pies. I want Auntie Vi's pies to go off of the chain, and I want her to be able to deal with the pies, and I want her to be on. I want Auntie Vi to make it. All right, I want to see Auntie Vi on That's Entertainment. I want to see Auntie Vi on TMZ. I want to see it, and I want to see the guy that takes the pie, and I want him to see exactly how good that pie is, that cherry pie. And I want him to sing it. Okay, so we see that Charlie comes in, and Auntie Vi, puts down the laptop. And she tells Charlie, she says, you know what? Now, you know that you were wrong by not letting us know that Prescott was in town. You know exactly how that is going to hit Nova. Nova is not going to have it. You know, Nova has already basically lost her father twice. Lost her father in the capacity where is that Nova's mother died, and the father, you know, had already left her mother for the white woman, and so, you know, that's going to put Nova over the deep end. And Auntie Vi knows that. And so, Charlie tells Auntie Vi, says, I know this and everything. And Auntie Vi says, oh, okay. And then Charlie goes into the spills to let Auntie Vi know that she went to, you know, this little meeting that dealt with the Mill Society, and every year they have this festival to crown, you know, somebody for the Paris and everything. And so, Auntie Vi tells Charlie, she says, you know what? This is not like you, Charlie. You really don't really allow anyone to kind of sort of tell you when and how and what you should do and everything. And you should do what, you know, you need to do. And basically the same thing that Auntie Vi tells her, her mother basically tells her the same thing. But basically, let's get back to the mother and everything. The mother has basically went and looked at that business plan and tell Charlie, and asks Charlie, said, the mother, Miss Prescott said, Charlie, I see that you only, you know, basically grind black mill farmers cane. Why is that? And she said, well, basically, and you only have like 100 acres or something like that. And she says, well, basically, that's all they have. They don't really have that much. And then the, you know, the lancers and stuff, you know, basically charge them an arm and a leg, and they can't really afford that and everything. And so Miss Prescott's go on and said, well, look, in order for you to diversify, you are going to have to cross that barrier line. It's because right now the only way that you are going to be able to, you know, stay afloat and everything is that you're going to have to diversify and cross that color line. And basically, green is green, no matter what color it is. Green is green. So basically, Miss Prescott has said, look, go and get that money because I taught you. I know you can do it. I want you to go back and get it. So let's go back and deal with Auntie Vi. And Auntie Vi basically told Charlie the same thing that Miss Prescott told her. And so Charlie says, well, why did you basically come over to see me? And so that's when Auntie Vi says, look, I basically came over to see you is because I got a deal to bake 350 pies. And I kind of sort of want you to assist me with this. I was like, oh, shucks now. If I'm thinking what I'm thinking, that's going to work out very well. Because if they, you know, bake those pies and they use that grain and that sugar to bake those pies, and if that grain and that sugar, you know, and everything is right, oh, they're gonna get paid. They're gonna get paid. And so we go on and we go into Nova and Robert. Apparently, Nova and Robert. But let's get back to Raph Angel and Dollar. Okay? Raph Angel and Dollar has basically settled down, and they've got Blue settled down, and they're basically in the bed. And Raph Angel is, let me just say, I can't use a word that I want to use because YouTube, if I use it, I already used one word. I can't do it again because I don't want to get a strike on me. But Raph Angel is acting very childish. He's just acting up. And the reason why he's acting up is that he's acting up due to the fact that earlier in the day, he saw this guy kept calling Dollar. And he didn't like exactly what was going on. And so Dollar says, well, what's going on? Why are you acting the way that you're acting? And Ralph Angel said, it's that guy. I can't get that guy out of my mind. And she says, well, why you can't get the guy out of your mind? That was a part of my past. She said, I am no longer part of that past. Unfortunately, when you have like a past like that, those pasts do have a tendency of coming back. And so he tells Dollar, he says, I can't get that out of him. Yeah, you basically were selling your body for to supply your habit. And so that's when Dollar was like, yo, yeah, I was, but let's not forget you. You were basically doing credit card fraud, and plus you were robbing convenience stores. And then that's when Ralph Angel was trying to justify the reason why I only run convenience store to kind of sort of, help pay, get money for Blue and buy clothes and stuff like that. I was like, yo, but did my theory is that, but did she say anything to you about that? Did she bring that up in her face and your face? No, but you had to bring back her past and throw it in her face. Now remember, Ralph Angel, and remember, guys, remember with what her mentor told her sponsor told Ralph Angel, said, Ralph Angel, if you cannot support her, then you need not to be with her, because you are going to cause her to kind of like relapse, and she does not need that in her life at this time. Ralph Angel is going to cause Dollar to relapse. Now listen to me, writers, listen to me, Ava. If Dollar does relapse, only do it for like a smidgen. Let her just think about it, but realize that she has too much to lose, and just be done with it. And so Dollar tells her, Ralph Angel, look, if you cannot accept me the way I am, then you might as well forget it. I'm not marrying you. I was like, you roll, Dollar, you roll. This Dollar is really, really growing. I said, you roll, Dollar. She said, you know what? Look, I'm out of here. I'm not sleeping with you, because this is my first night here, and this is how you gonna treat me? Nah, I'm going ahead and sleep on the couch. I'm good. I don't think. And this is why they are questioning whether or not if Ralph Angel is indeed responsible for this farm, because he is a spoiled, rotten, little privileged little black boy who is all about me. What about me? And I was like, he's very selfish. It seems like his daddy might have been real selfish too, because it looks like he might have a lot of traits of his daddy. So let's roll on over to Robert and Nova. It seems that Robert and Nova are basically the same thing, are basically the same way when it comes to actually marriage. And Nova tells Robert, says, I really don't really, really want to marry. And so Robert says, I really don't want to marry either. And then she goes on and tells Robert about the facts about, her nephew and what happened with the police and her nephew. And I'm thinking this, guys, Nova is going to write that article about her nephew and what that policeman did to her nephew. Even though David and Micah doesn't want to do it, but by Charlie and Charlie telling Nova exactly what happened to her nephew when they gave a surprise party for Ralph Angel and Dollar. That's when Charlie tells her sister what happened. So I'm thinking she's gonna write that article, and that article is going to hit it. And that article is basically, I don't know, it might get Nova the Nobel Peace Prize or anything, and she might just get it. And so we find out that those two, when it comes to, the way they think, how they see things and everything, they're basically on the same vibe. And so this is when we see the most passionate, embrace sexual love scene that strike that Nova and Robert has had so far. And now it's time for basically for them to depart. And we see that Robert has packed up his things and the car is out there, and the car has basically, honked his horn and say, look, it's time for, come on, let's go. And so that's when Robert kind of sort of embraced Nova. And so he kisses, and Nova says, I basically think that this will hold me until, I get to Atlanta. Now remember, Chantel has basically came back onto the scene, y'all. And y'all know that her and Chantel had a little thing. And like earlier, I think it was yesterday, Chantel wasn't really feeling the fact that Nova is basically, dating a black man, and that Nova is really in it. So Chantel is kind of jealous and everything. So I think Chantel is going to kind of sort of go over there and try to persuade Nova to kind of sort of get with her, and one thing to another. I'm just putting it out there. And so Robert says, look, I don't want to go. And that's when Nova says, well, don't go. I was like, oh, Nova, it looks like you is beginning to fall for Robert, and Robert is beginning to fall for you. And so Robert says, look, I have something for you. He says, when you get ready to come, here, just come right on in. I ain't even got to come and get you. When I get home from work, I want you there. Like he told her when they first said, I want you there. And you ain't even got to worry about it. Because guess what? Robert gave Nova the keys to his apartment. I was like, whoa. This is getting ready to get serious with Robert. I mean, he really likes this woman. And when people gives up keys, that means that you like a person. You ain't got to worry about, you just come anytime you want to. Come. And you can just, and I'll be there. I was like, oh, shoot. Nova's got the keys to a man's apartment. And the good thing about it, she got the keys to a black man's apartment. I was like, yo. And so that's when Nova took the keys. And you could see that Nova was kind of like really surprised at the fact that Robert gave her those keys. And I think those keys is going to have Nova rethinking the relationship. I think she's going to try to run away. Because remember now, she didn't try to run away one time and Robert came after her. And so let's see exactly how this is going to go, guys. Until the next time, this was very, very good. Everything is getting ready to dwell and come together. So let's see what's going to go on next week. Next week we begin the season, the season to end the season for so they could get ready for season 3. And yes, Queen Sugar has been added to another season, so it's most definitely that they will be coming back. So the next time, this is All Things Cheryl, and I'm saying have a good and wonderful weekend, and I'm saying peace and love. You may see me pop up again, maybe with a video, because my church is having their 35th anniversary, and we have all of our churches coming into town to celebrate and to do workshops. And so I'm kind of like, after this, I'm done, I'm out, I'll be in church. Until the next time, I say this is All Things Cheryl, peace and love, and I'll see you. Maybe I'll do a video to let you guys see what's going on with my church, how we rock and how we roll. Peace, one love.